Hello, more light.
Hi, everybody. Oh, my goodness. It is an exciting day today in paradise. And I'm so excited to have a young lady with us today. I mean, she's completely blazing the trails, inspiring the world, not just the USA, but she's one of the top hairstylists in the industry based in LA with celebrity clients. She's also an educator, investor, entrepreneur, featured in countless magazines, Vogue, People Style, Ebony, Elle, Sheen, Bazaar, etc. We're definitely going to get her personal story. So please welcome Miss Nakia Rachon. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. Look, I didn't want to take the stage for your personal story. So can you tell people, where you came from and then how you got to where you are now?
Yes, so I came from Sacramento, California, which is Northern California. Um, I came from a line of cosmetologists. My great grandmother owned a salon, and my grandmother worked there. So, as long as I can remember my childhood, I was in the salon trying to work to get my hair done or help clean up so that, I can get a fresh press for the weekend or any holiday. I'll be like, I'll clean brushes, I'll do whatever. And I'll be sneaking into products and sneaking into a lot of stuff I wasn't supposed to, and just trying to learn and listen to all the gossip and the knowledge and wisdom that I would hear growing up in there. So that's where I'm from. I moved to Los Angeles with my family in 2012 to pursue mine and my husband's dreams of becoming a hairstylist in the industry and my husband becoming a musician. And so we've been here ever since. So LA is considered our second home.
Okay. So we have something in common, Nakia. So my mom is a hairstylist as well. She's
Really?
known her shop for
Mhm.
many years. So we have that in common. I don't tell
I
people that
love
too
it.
much, but as soon as you said, I was like,
I
oh no.
love it.
I started
Oh,
from
so
the
you know.
shampoo and hair from the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
I
you
love
already know. It's like you end up doing hair by default. So it's like in my head, it was like, it wasn't nothing that I'm like, well, I could fall back on this because I really enjoyed it and I love being in the salon. But in college, I was a shampoo girl. I went to Sac State and I was actually going to school for biology. I wanted to be a doctor. And I was working at a husband and wife salon barbershop as the shampoo girl. And man, I was so inspired by the woman and her husband. It was just very inspiring seeing like family doing business together and how they had it like the salon was over here on this side and the barbershop was here. So it was like the man cave and the women's cave.
Oh wow.
It
That's
was a
so
dope
awesome.
concept. And I was there shampooing, um, setting people's hair and stuff and just like getting money so I could pay books, pay for nights out and all that stuff. So
Okay.
yeah, and I ended up taking my sister on a tour to Paul Mitchell because she also is a hairstylist who just got her license.
Okay.
I took her on a tour to Paul Mitchell and she was like, "Oh, I don't know. I'm not ready to sign up for no financial aid or like to make this commitment because it was like I want to say school was starting like in 2 weeks or something." And I
Mm.
was like, "Well, how does that work if I'm already like in school and I have like my financial aid and stuff at Sac State? Like, can I sign up?" And they were like, "Well, are you serious?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll put down whatever I have to put down to start, and I'll sign up. I'll get my stuff squared away at Sac State, and I'll be there by the time you guys start." So that's how that happened. It was a beautiful accident. What got me was as they take you on a tour for Paul Mitchell, they kind of go through their story. And what got me was one of the hairstylists, who's a mentor for the company. He was doing someone's hair, and basically a woman came at the end of the shift. And because your mom was a hairstylist, at the end of the night, it's like, I'm tired.
Yep.
I had
Been on
all
your
these
feet all
people
day.
come. People, yeah, been on their feet all day. I'm like, I don't want to see nobody. I don't want to do no hair. I'm trying to get up out of here, go eat, because we don't eat.
Right.
So basically, he was like, something on my heart told me I'm just gonna go and do this last haircut, and he didn't do nothing in his head. It was nothing spectacular. He was like, I went through the service. I gave her a little scalp massage, cut her hair, blew dry it, and sent her on her way. A couple months later, he gets a card in the mail saying how the woman basically was sending him a card saying, "Thank you so much for saving my life," because she had planned to go commit suicide. She was like, I want to get beautiful for my funeral or whatever. And I was like, oh my God.
You took one of my questions. I was just about to get to that. And I was going to ask you that people don't realize that hairstylists are actually therapists. Like how many times people want to, leave their spouses or going through some of their jobs, ready to commit suicide. So can you talk about that you guys are more than hairstylists? You guys are like, oh my God, doctors.
Yes, I feel like hairstylists are definitely like healers. And it's crazy because I have a lot of friends, and actually 2 like close friends of mine that are actually nurses as well as celebrity hairstylists and work in the industry and stuff. And it's very similar professions when like you're taking care of people, because people don't understand, like, our head is like, this is our top chakra, our brain is in here, it's so much energy here, like it's a lot, we hold a lot of energy, emotions, and all of that. So it's a sensitive thing. And when you think about it, like, you really only let people you trust, like, I'm sure most people don't let anyone in their head. And when you do, you're like, okay, I learned my lesson, so I'm gonna have to go to someone I trust. It's a very intimate relationship that hairstylists have with our clients. So we have to be careful, like we be mindful. Like a lot of times we're getting clients, they're like spilling all of like whatever they're going through, whether it's their day or them being stressed out trying to balance parenthood, or whether it's being a wife or work or deciding if they want to quit a job or anything. They're like giving us that, like it's that vulnerable state. And we have to be really cautious on how we like receive it and how we respond. Or even if you don't know how to respond, it's always good to we always need someone to listen. So I've learned throughout the years, and I think even when you're working and you get so exhausted and you're like, well, I haven't really been doing that much. For hairstylists, I would encourage you to just like think about like the conversations that you've had, because a lot of times we're natural givers and natural healers, so we take on a lot. And energetically, like having an appointment and dealing with someone that's been going through a trauma or something that's like very stressful or whatever, it tends to wear off on us as healers. And so we have to always check ourselves and make sure like we're checking in with ourselves as well, because it is an important job.
Wow. Talk about the importance of hair care. My mom is really big on that. Like a lot of people want the cute hairstyles, and then they go get these blowouts and blow their hair out, the colors with the perms. I could just go on and on.
Yes,
how important hair care is.
It's so important. And for me, that's like one of the things that like I'm not gonna shy away when it comes to hair care. I'll do my best to give you whatever style, but being honest, and one of the things I like hold tight of my integrity of a hairstylist is health of the hair and scalp. If there's a certain situation going on with your hair and scalp and you want me to put a frontal or some glue or something, it's like, I'm so sorry, but we're gonna heal your scalp first and your hair, and then we'll go on to give you whatever look. But if it's something that you have to jeopardize the health and integrity of your hair, I can't do it. I've had people walk away and then go to someone else, and then I'd have to be the one to take their hair back on the healing journey. But it's so important. And the products that you use, the type of water you use, how you're treating your hair, whether it's heat or tension or anything, is like very important to also keep in mind that, we want to keep our hair live and shiny and well. So yeah, that's my number one reason I recently started working with a company that is vegan, sulfate, paraben free, and all that, and super clean and healing from the hair. It's all about, these days, it's all about technology. We might as well take advantage of the technology and use the good products. And I mean, the tools have gotten better, because back in the days, the blow dryers that we had, that's obviously why we had to use the pressing comb, because curling irons and stuff that we buy from the store, we couldn't use those in our head. It would only get to like what, 210, or maybe like, I can't remember, 320, something crazy.
Yep.
So, and it's possible. I mean, I colored my hair blonde because, for one, it's been a challenge for me to make that push and do the big chop, like I'm talking short finger waves. I think Sweetie did it. Oh
Okay.
my God. It's
Right.
been like dream hair goals to like have it cut short and be able to wear finger waves and have like a nice bald head. And I was like, okay, I can't do that. I can't make that leap. I didn't have I didn't have the confidence to do it. So I went blonde and I was like, okay, well, most people go blonde and then their hair starts to break off and all that. So once it falls off, I'm gonna get my finger waves by force. I'm gonna
Right.
do that and then I'm gonna do the big chop. But my hair has been like it ain't start falling out yet. So
Oh wow.
I've just been experimenting and having fun and really embracing my curls and having fun. So when
Wow.
y'all see me with finger waves and the blonde and the little, y'all know. I'll keep it real with my clients and people that tune in with me on social media or whatever. So
Oh wow. Let's get into price.
hmm
When did you go full time, and at what point did you feel comfortable with raising your price and not being scared to lose or negotiate with people? When
hmm
did you get to that point?
man, that's a good question because it's constantly it was always a struggle with like, okay, well, I know that my worth is this, and I feel like it's about time to raise my prices, but also being a person that's very empathetic and very understanding of the times and like in people's situations and all that. So it was hard for a long time. I had the same prices for like, man, I I want to say like it was definitely a challenge. It honestly took for me, I would say therapy and a lot of walking into our power and understanding, like not thinking about it as I'm charging or I'm taking from someone, but more so I've worked so hard and I deserve this is what I'm asking for. This is the cost of the service that I'm giving to you, or, just putting a price on our worth and being confident in that and not being afraid because when you say, "Oh, I'm gonna charge this price," and you're really insecure behind it, and you're like, "Oh, I hope they don't say anything," chances are they're gonna be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, that's too much for me. I can go to such and such down the street for 250. Thank you. Thank you, sis. It's great. But next time when I can afford you." Um, Instead of doing it that way or like explaining that to someone, just tell them, so for these services I'm offering you, or explaining it to them as like all the things you're offering them. Like, I'm gonna give you this time, we're gonna consult, we're gonna do this. You basically highlight everything that you do, which is essentially what a normal appointment you're giving. You're giving the time, your presence, you're giving all of the years of training that you've done, and you're standing behind it confidently because the confidence, like at the end of the day, it's hair, but it's therapy, it's your energy, your time that we can't get back. A lot of us, it's the only thing the only thing that we survive off of, and I love doing hair. I could do hair all day, all night, no sleep, get all my friends together and everything and just have fun because I'm so passionate about it.
Mhm.
But if I'm not making income to support my family, then I would have to, it's like, what else are we gonna do? How are we gonna make this work for us? And there's a perfect balance of how to transition from like a lacking type of mindset to a business and entrepreneurial mindset. And it's all about a lot of mindfulness and I would say confidence in speaking up and knowing your worth.
Wow.
So
Wow. I'm sure people hit you up to do collabs all the time. What are your rules or baseline for judging now whether if you want to do a collab with somebody or not?
um a collab as far as excuse
Paid,
me.
paid, paid, and then people do
Oh yeah.
favors, so
Yeah.
people
Oh,
know the
I
rules.
do. I came up on favors, and you never know when those favors will come back and become your blessings. So I still do favors to this day,
Yeah.
and I'm not afraid to show that. I love giving back and gratitude and all that. Um, as far as the paid stuff, um, it really has to be something that I stand for and something that I believe in. Because I get a bunch of different opportunities, and some of them I'm like, I can't fake it. I cannot fake this. I can't, the energy, like you would understand, I cannot lie because you'll see it right on my face. You'll be like,
Right.
I'm not sold on this. But if it's something that I'm passionate about and something I'm inspired from, then I'm like, oh my God, I don't care how much the price is. I'm here. I support this. I'm all for it. Y'all go get this stuff. It's amazing. Or support these people here. They're genuine, good. The food is great. Like whatever the situation is, it has to be something that I truly feel in my soul. Like I really have to take time and like digest it and research it and stuff before I can go out and spread that, because at the end of the day, I don't want to persuade anyone to anything and not have the knowledge behind it, or not be able to back them up, or leave them hanging like, oh, I like this yesterday. So a lot of times if it's something I'm iffy about and I'm like, for example, when I started using a product or whatever, and I'm like, okay, telling my friends, oh, you guys want to try this? You should try this because it's amazing. I love it, y'all. And they're like, girl, I don't know, or whatever. I'm like, okay, you tried yourself, and then you like away from me so I don't persuade you or whatever before you like go out. And then I'm like, let me know if I'm crazy before then. I'm like, I'll have a couple other people confirm that what I'm feeling is real and, authentic. So.
Right. So how did you begin attracting the A+++ clients and even celebrities at a regular celebrities as well? How did you begin attracting them, and what did you do? What was
Excuse me. Well, I said yes to a lot of volunteer work. I've assisted a lot, and I still am open to assisting. Like I still assist my peers, whether it's friends or legendary hairstylists here and there that's like, hey, do you have an assistant? I'll be like, I could assist. Being open to assist, and that also brings in opportunities, or you never know who anyone is. So you might have a client or someone reaching out to you like, hey, can you do this? And being available. Excuse me. That's kind of led to like word of mouth and people introducing like, oh, can you do this? And oh, can you do that? And it's landed opportunities to work with some pretty amazing people. So sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
This cough has been trying to kill me.
So talk about the importance of saving your money, right?
Oh, man.
Because people, especially entrepreneurs, we get this lump sum and, there's highs and lows in business, and how important it is to save your money, but also invest in your money. Take classes, pay for them, and, don't just rely on YouTube videos to get you that knowledge.
Yes. It's very important to invest in yourself. And instead of when it comes to situations like, oh, I'm going to try to invest in this or that, don't think of it as you investing into something. Just as you said, think of it as investing into yourself and your future and your children and their children and everything, and then forget about it. One thing I learned, because in the pandemic, I had picked up Forex trading, and then that kind of opened my eyes. I'm like, gosh, this is what people do. And it's like quick money you can make, or quick losses that you can make. It's insane. But that also opened my eyes into the stock market, and like being aware of like what's happening in the world, and how a lot of like the billionaires and billionaire companies are using their money. A lot of times 99% of the time people are investing in everything and then using from the investments in order to spend, and also being aware of like not living above their means. And it's very important, because at the end of the day, you can do an amazing job and get this check. Let's say it's maybe you get like a $10,000 check or whatever, and you don't know how to delegate your money, whether it's put some for savings, go, allow yourself to have a little fun with some and invest or whatever. Like that can be gone in a couple days. And I've seen in this world, like I've been guilty of just splurging, and then I'm like, oh, okay. And then what about when the pandemic happened, when we shut down, and it's like, oh, we can't work, so like that was a game changer for a lot of us. And I believe a lot of people started speaking up more, educating or getting educated, investing in classes, we have the gold mine of the internet. We have YouTube, we have Instagram. Now it's like TikTok has been a gold mine for finding out investment information. Like I've got into like I'm going blank, but like the what is it? Digital currency, like the
Okay,
I
like
can't think of the word.
Ethereum.
Not either. Like there's like all of these different things.
Okay.
I can't think of what now. I can't think of what it's called because I had to put it on the spot. But basically, it's like how art is becoming
Okay, digital artwork and
currency
stuff. Okay.
type of thing. But
Okay.
it's so many different things out there, and it's just like I've thought about when I'm like throwing out money on certain things. Also, be aware of like what you're holding on to because listen, I've been in position where I'm like, wow, I've made all this money. Like, what do I have to show for it? And how can I show for like all the hard work that I've put in the time? Because at the end of the day, we don't get our time back. And so when we're putting all this time and passion into stuff and we're getting compensated for it, you want to have something to fall back on, especially with the pandemic. And then we're about to be in a recession. So it's important to invest in ourselves so that we'll be okay and we don't have to work like crazy later on. But I reckon it's so many really good books out there and so many podcasts and stuff. And man, that just listen, one of the books that my husband he had brought home was Rich Dad Poor Dad. And even reading that book, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy how the mindset of the rich dad versus the mindset of the poor dad. It's like it just a light bulb goes off like, okay, well the times have changed. Like we have the power to manifest or and these days it's like if you can think about it and you can think it, then it can be done or you can create it. And it's hard to sometimes be the person that creates the blueprint. But at the end of the day, it's like Amazon was created in somebody's garage.
Yeah.
And I got about 5 Amazon boxes over there that I gotta open.
Right.
So it's like someone was like, oh, we should just go get some stuff from the store, like go and deliver, ship whatever, however it started with books or whatever. And it's like now it's this big global thing.
Yeah.
So we just got to believe in ourselves and invest in ourselves and think beyond where we're at now. Because that's going to get us, it's going to get us out of the current situations. And I also think having communities or being open in communities that where, you can feed off other people and learn from other people. And it's like, I love like even how we're connecting and it's like I'll give my knowledge and receive knowledge from you and then you go to this person and give and receive the knowledge and it's like it just makes our network so much stronger.
That is so true. I'm sure you had plenty emotional moments. So what's one of the biggest ones where you're like, I can't believe this happened to me that you could talk about it or go around it or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I could share. I mean, I wake up and I'm like, God is so good because if I would have told y'all that I just wrote down some of the stuff and then I just, I watch it happen and come into fruition, people probably wouldn't even believe me. I would say one of my biggest challenges was here's one. I was doing like background hair for the Oscars and as the job was presented to me, it was like, okay, we need to do this, it was just crazy. Like, okay, maybe do 40 wigs like this. And then we end up doing something completely different and putting a team together. It really, after watching the live performance, I sat back and I just cried for some time and I had to take it in. And like, it was hard to swallow and hard to just soak in the, like, okay, like, wow. Like, not only did I do this, but just looking at all the different lives that were impacted in this moment, like all the hard work that went into it, all like every single person that said yes when it came to like, hey, can you work? Because a lot of times I'll reach out to people like, hey, are you busy on this day? Are you busy on that day? And sometimes they're like, oh no, I can't, or what's it for? And I can't say what it's for, or whatever the case is. And there's a lot of people that say yes, and they're just like, I trust you. I know you'll take care of whatever the situation. And like one of my friends she had just had a baby not too long from it, and I was like, hey, how are you? Like, are you back? I'm not gonna try to pressure you to be back because I'm all for maternity. You're from women, moms, to have that time, but I also don't want to like take that away and like decide for you whether or not if you want to work or not. And she's like, oh yeah, girl, I could work, I could do this or whatever, but I might have to make a couple adjustments, like just little things like that. So I'm just like, every single life that was impacted after watching the performance, and that was very, very emotional, and it was a moment full of gratitude. And I'm like, gosh, it was nights of, I don't know, it was 3 or 4 nights of, maybe 3, of prepping and it just being so last minute, and not thinking that we can do it, and not thinking that I can come up with the team and trust the people were going to come. And it was just like, you had to let go and let God handle, and just present like a nice community vibe for everyone, and welcome everyone in, and allow people to feel loved and feel seen and be able to like create. And when I tell you, it was the most beautiful thing ever, just reflecting back on to everyone working and hustling and tired, laid out on the floor and feeding, and just, it was definitely a moment of celebration, and just gratitude for like the whole team of everyone who was a part of the project. And yeah, that was one of my, I was like, wow, we're here and we're doing this, and we didn't give up. There was times, I mean, even throughout my career, I'm like, I don't think I could do this. And they're like, oh, why me? And
Right.
and I pray on it, and I'm like so grateful for my community, my family being so supportive, because I think at that point when I got a call to work, I had just put on a baby shower for another friend the same day that I had to start prepping for the next day or whatever. It was something crazy. And I'm just like, I'm so grateful.
So, how many times did you hear the word no, and what made you keep banging on that door?
Ooh, that's a good one. So, I was in beauty school. I was in beauty school, and one of the things they tell you in beauty school is to not get pregnant while you're in core. And core is like the first 3 months, I think, of beauty school, because I was on the 2-year program.
Okay.
At night school, because I was working 2 other jobs. They were like, don't get pregnant don't get pregnant when you're in core, because everyone that gets pregnant in core, they end up dropping out. And so that was in my head. And then lo and behold, I got pregnant in core. And I was like, okay, I'm pregnant, but I'm not quitting. And I'm not about to let you guys determine my future. And I had volunteered to help with makeup, with one of the mentors of my beauty school. And I had drove to San Francisco. I rented a car, and I have no money to be renting a car, but I think I had an auntie rent a car for me, and I had to borrow money from my grandma and a couple people just so that I can rent a car to drive to San Francisco. And I'm from Sacramento, so it's flat land, valley. We don't got hills, not that much. Not where I'm from, we don't have hills. It's just flat land, dry and hot. So I had to go to San Francisco. It's like 45-minute drive up in the hills in the world's crookedest street, and I had to like park this way parallel park on one of those crooked. It was crazy. It was so scary, but I was like, I'm out here on faith, and I want this mentor. She was a celebrity hairstylist. She did all these great things, and I'm like, I just want to learn from her. And we were on the way to the job. Once we got together, we're in the car, and she was like, well, unfortunately you're pregnant, so it'll be, you won't be able to do celebrity hair and all that work in the industry, but you could always do weddings, and weddings pay great, and they're on the weekends most times. And just telling me all these things. I cried like almost the whole way home that day, and I was so defeated. I was like, I was soaking up what I can learn from her, but then I also was like, I felt so defeated. I was like kind of putting myself down, like, how did you get pregnant in the first couple months of school and all these things? And then I had some more time before I got home, and I was like, hold on. because I'm not mad at the fact that I'm pregnant. Like, I have a life inside of me, and this life inside of me can do whatever it wants to. So who am I to sit here and like let this person tell me what I can do when I have my life, which I'm volunteering to help you, and you're supposed to mentor me, and then I have a whole life inside of me that the world could be ours. And so a lot of times I had spent going against like whoever said, "Oh, you can't do this or you can't do that." I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go do that. And I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna try to do whatever I can do to try to get in the spaces of doing that. And I would watch videos, movies in particular. One was Bats, is one of my favorite movies when it comes to creative, like hair, makeup, wardrobe. Oh my goodness, that was one of my favorites. And I was just like, I'm gonna start looking at the credits of these movies. And I would look at the credits, and a lot of my favorite movies, it would be Kim Kimble. Kim Kimble. She would be on all the movies with the bomb hair. And I was like, I wanna maybe try working on movies, or not even working on them, but see if I can reach out to the hairstylist to learn from them, or ask if they can mentor. So then I went on Twitter and I was messaging and stuff, and she responded, and we were like Twitter homies. And I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna go to Miami for a girls trip. How do you think I should wear my hair? What do you think about this? And she'd be like, oh, curly works because it's human. You don't want to be wasting time. Whatever it was. Like, we were talking for a good year maybe before I was like, well, are you hiring and all this? And I didn't know about the show. She had Elle hair. I didn't know about that at the time until she had called and said, okay, we're going to have interviews or auditions at the salon. And my husband and I, we drove to LA. And I think the night before that, we had this family event, and we were like on water slides or whatever. I had messed up my hair, and somehow I came across LA hair, and I was like, very intimidated, very much like, oh, my hair look crazy. We driving all the way out here. I'm not ready. It's Hollywood. It's all these things. Luckily, I got there and I auditioned and stuff. It was not that. That was the show, and it was, But I reached out, and I reached out to other hairstylists that I love their work. Whether it was Nakia Rachon, she was one, and she was in the East Coast, and I was thinking I couldn't really afford to get out that way. We did a drive to LA, though. We ended up moving to LA. I waited some time. I worked at that salon for quite some time, and after I left there, we'd worked together for, on a few different projects and stuff. And I mean, to this day, like I've collaborated. Luckily, I've collaborated with some pretty amazing hairstyles, whether it's Kim Kimble, Neil Farina, Chuck Amos, Lacey Redway. It's so many. And to be in the community of inspirational people, especially inspirational Black people and my Black women, is just, I mean, it's a dream that I'm so grateful to be able to hopefully tell others how I did it, and to allow the space for them to do it, because I get people to reach out to me all the time, whether it's mentorship or questions, and I make sure I try to be present and I can answer them no matter how busy I am.
Okay. Last 3 questions. What advice do you have to people right now, especially hairstylists who are struggling? Maybe they're working full time, and then also, if they want to get like celebrity clients and whatnot.
Some of the advice. Well, one thing for sure is to not be afraid to reach out to their favorite hairstylist or stylist that they feel like can be mentors to them, even if it's makeup artists. A lot of makeup artists do hair too, and hairstylists that do both. So finding a community, or finding people that they feel like they may be able to relate to, or whether or not people that if they like their work, not being afraid to reach out to them and ask like, hey, do you need an assistant for this? Or I'd like to meet you. I had one person just reach out to me, and we've been texting for a couple months or whatever. Before we started talking through Instagram, and she recently moved out here. So I recently started I would say a hair management company, or like a referral agency rather, where I connect with other hairstylists and I'll give them different jobs or opportunities, whether it's hair, makeup artist maybe, and just
That's
link up that
smart.
way because I
Let me
believe in a
Let me
whole.
clap for you real quick. Hold on.
Thank you. Thank
That's
you.
outside the box. That's awesome.
Thanks. I just believe in community. And at the end of the day, I don't want nobody to have to go through all of what I went through to get to where I'm at. So, you know, I'm trying to create a space to make sure we're all, everyone can dream. I'm a dreamer because all my life, this is literally a dream, whether it was written down, it was prayed on, like you name it. And so I'm a big dreamer. If someone tells me, oh, I want to do this or I wish I could do that, I'm like, okay, well, how are we going to make this happen? How are we going to make these dreams come true? Because I'm not going to talk you out of it or tell you it's impossible, because nothing's impossible.
That is so true. So where do you see yourself in the next, I guess, year or two?
In the next year or two, I see the agency successful and creating a lot of opportunities for other artists and creators. I also see myself, I can see myself being successful in the other business venture I'm with, Monet, which is hair care, skincare. It's right in the alley of healthy hair and my lifestyle. So that, and I would say creating spaces of less stress and more happiness in like our passion of life, and our purpose.
Okay. Oh, and how did you incorporate your family into your passion, like in what you're doing? Not like exclude, because some people tend to want to exclude them. So how important was you to incorporate them in your journey and in this process?
Oh, it's so important because at the end of the day, well, when I first started working, a lot of times it was like me having to go out and work so much and being gone so much, that me being blessed with the opportunity to work in smaller spaces, work for myself. I bring my family in with me, whether or not, if I'm working on projects at home, I might have my 5-year-old helping me with some stuff. Like let her tell it, she's going to be the best hairstylist, makeup artist, and performer that we've had. So, and I believe in it. I'm going to make sure she knows she'll be the best.
Yeah.
I just get them involved. I keep them in the know of everything I'm doing, so they can get excited about it with me. If there's any opportunities where I can bring them along, whether it's a show or watching, like having a get together and celebrating an event or anything, I just keep them involved and I celebrate them a lot, because at the end of the day, it's them giving me the space to create that allows me to create stresslessly and to create and not have to constantly think of like, oh my God, I have to go home. I got to do this. I got to do that. So them allow me to have the space, and me letting them know like, I'm doing all this work for you guys. So how can we do this together? Whether or not they're giving me ideas or putting me in check when it comes to things. They're telling me that's not cute, mama. I'm like, thank you. Cause kids gonna tell you exactly how it
You're gonna
is.
be honest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So can you tell people, what you have coming up next, and then also where they can find and connect with you at?
Yes. So, well, what do I have coming up next? I can't say. But if you follow me on Instagram at Nakia Rachon, and I'm working on the other platforms, see me more on YouTube, then I'll just make sure I journey everything and bring you guys along the way. But also, just reach out to me in my DMs or message me, because I message back.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Nakia. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you. It was
Definitely look
so
forward
nice.
to sharing and spreading some of your great projects. And again, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much
All
for
right.
having
Thank
me.
you.
Bye.
Bye.